Hi, I'm Danielle, and I'm the Chicago and Wisconsin rep for Hachette Book Group. I'm going to start with a late summer title, then move through fall with a few winter titles thrown in at the end. All the Frequent Troubles of Our Days, the true story of an American at the heart of the German resistance to Hitler by Rebecca Donner, Little Brown. Two of the things that make this remarkable historical biography special are that, one, it is written in first person and reads like a political thriller, and two, it contains many photographs and declassified documents that really add to an already gripping story. The author is Mildred Harnack's great-great-niece, who is determined to make Mildred known. Mildred Harnack was born and raised in Milwaukee and moved to Berlin at age 26 for her PhD. There she watched the astonishing rise of the Nazi Party and became a central figure in the German resistance. Though Mildred left little behind, Donner does an amazing job of weaving together family archives, original research, interviews with survivors, and intelligence documents to give us an authentic story that really captures a time and place in all its complexity. From parties with diplomats, high-ranking Nazis, and literary greats like Thomas Wolfe, to basement prison cells and concentration camps, it just carries you away. Body Scout by Lincoln Michel from Orbit. This is a future noir cyberpunk extravaganza with baseball. It's set in a New York ravaged by climate change and repeat pandemics worse than today, and populated with an outrageous cast of characters. My personal favorites are the Neanderthals that have been resurrected and the twin sister loan sharks. In this world, you can have any body you want as long as you can afford it. Kobo is an out-of-date cyborg talent scout for a pharma-owned baseball team, still drowning in debt from his 10-year-old parts when his brother J.J. Zunes, a star slugger for the Monsanto Mets, is murdered at home plate, and Kobo is determined to find the killer. It's jam-packed with clever concepts like chameleon fabric and oyster glands secreting pearls. And there's a father who was a parts gardener and a mother addicted to augmented reality romances. And speaking of augmented reality, this is one of Orbit's titles that feature that technology. If you choose, you can view a front cover animation and an author video using Google Lens. Ask me about it if you'd like to hear more. Hurricane Lizards and Plastic Squid, the fraught and fascinating biology of climate change by Thor Hansen, basic. It's a book about the causes of climate change, but not about the causes of climate change, but about how climate change is driving evolution. It's remarkable how fast plants and animals are shifting and changing in order to survive. Those who are unable to adapt will die out. This has always been true, but the ways in which they have begun to adapt are fascinating. Anole lizards have grown larger toe pads so that they can grip more tightly in frequent hurricanes. Humboldt squid have shrunken in size to the point that fishermen mistook them for a different species. The message that really comes across is how complicated and unpredictable the effects of climate change are. We can't predict exactly how this will all play out. Hope can be found in the resilience of life on our planet. That's what the author attempts to show. At the same time, it's clearly a very risky game we are playing. Say Their Names, How Black Lives Came to Matter in America by Curtis Bunn, Michael H. Cotman, Patrice Gaines, Nick Charles, and Keith Harrison from GCP. Informed by history dating back to 1619, this book is an exhaustive studies survey of the Black Lives Matter movement. 5 seasoned journalists bring together their collective years of reporting and personal experience to take on the various types of injustice that Black people face in America. From healthcare to policing to prisons, wealth disparities, voting rights, and explain how they led to a revolution in the summer of 2020. The book also explores things like the role of the church in the BLM movement, Black political lineage, the election of Donald Trump, and the resurgence of white supremacist organizations. It is told with lots of interviews and reads almost like an oral history. It's an important book and a complement to best-selling anti-racist texts. Memoirs of Stockholm, Sven by Nathaniel Ian Miller, Little Brown. This book made the long list for the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize. It's a very unique and poetically written story. It Sven is a memorable character, as are all the motley characters in this book. He's a depressive who attempts to isolate himself in the Arctic wilds in the far reaches of Norway after a disfiguring accident. But the people he meets won't leave him alone because he's a good guy and they want to help. While the setting of the book might seem cold or bleak, the novel is so warm and dryly funny and heartfelt at its core, and in the hospitable place maybe, that the descriptions of this Arctic setting are stunning. And it's also an adventure tale. There are ice bears and a walrus, and as a bonus, there is Everhard, a very good dog. Waffles and Pancake, Planetary Yum by Drew Brockington, LBYR. It's the first book in a new early reader graphic novel series from the creator of Catstronauts. The author takes us back in time to when his famous shuttle pilot was a kitten. Little Waffles and his sister Pancake get to go to a science museum in the big city with Cat Dad, where they see many amazing things and get lost and are found again. It's subtle, but the cat parents live apart, so the kittens come back to Mom Cat at the end of the day. Waffles and Pancake #2, Flight or Fright, is also great, and I'm hooked. The art has its own style without being too complicated. The stories are engaging and even fun for a parent to read. A great addition for this market for ages about 6 to 9. On the winter list, An Arrow to the Moon by Emily XR Pan, LBYR. This YA novel is a great combination of real-life teen reality and a mythological mystery that really creeps up and surprises you at the end. It's an American-Taiwanese Romeo and Juliet story that also inspired me to want to read more Chinese folktales. Strange things are happening to and around Luna Chang and the new boy, Hunter Yi. Their families hate each other, and it quickly becomes clear that their love is the only thing they can depend on. A sadly beautiful story from the author of The Astonishing Color of After. Peach Blossom Spring by Melissa Fu, Little Brown. Just chosen as an Indies Introduce featured title for winter spring 22, this richly detailed novel takes us from war-torn China to Taiwan to America across 3 generations. A mother lives for her son, but stubbornly chooses her own peace in the end. The son seeks to put his difficult past behind him, and his daughter must coax her identity from a reluctant father. All the costs and rewards for immigrants in America are felt acutely, and I was really pulling for this family late into the night when I couldn't put the book down. The prose is lush, and the book within a book, actually a hand-painted scroll that mother and son managed to hold on to through their journey, adds a timeless quality. On a Night of 1,000 Stars by Andrea Yarura Clark, GCP. A mystery unfolds in this complicated tale of love and family, set against the romantic backdrop of the colonial city of Buenos Aires during the dirty war of the 1970s. I had the soundtrack of Evita playing in my head throughout, well-researched and to some extent lived by the author. Her family escaped to the US around the time that Palomas does in the novel, and she also went back to research the families of the disappeared. When she returns to Argentina, Paloma not only comes to question her family and her identity, but also puts her life in danger. When she finds the truth, it is complicated and moving and sad, but also redemptive. It's a rare and more contemporary historical novel set in South America and also in the second half of the century. I'm happy to get you copies of anything you might be interested in. Thanks for listening.